A 1, 2, 3. We talk about debt, baby. We talk about debt, baby. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Vlogmas Day 26. Woohoo! So as you probably know from the thumbnail of this video and the title of this video, we are debt free. Woo! If you have debt, if you want to be debt free, if you are already debt free, if you have any other reason and are interested at all in being debt free, please continue watching because I've got some tips for you along with our story of how we did it. It was quite a journey and it took some time, but it was worth it. It's a long story how we became debt free. We had quite a bit of debt when we first started our journey. In October of 2016, Chase and I both got new jobs. We finally got into the hang of our new income, and so we started to spend more money. We traveled to 3 different countries in 2 months, and although that sounds really exotic and exciting, it wasn't that crazy because we live in Germany, but it was still a significant amount of money that we spent in a really short period of time. It was around the holiday season, so we were just spending all of our extra income, and we really became exhausted by that. After the 2 months of traveling, we were kind of sick of being gone all the time. We were sick of flying. We were sick of paying to do this stuff, and it just kind of became a burden. So we decided to look at where was our money actually going and what did we actually want to do with that money. I had always been a budgeter, but what I didn't realize is that my budget was really just a calendar for my bills. I thought that my budget was telling me, where my money was going and where my money could be best spent. But it was actually just telling me when my bills were due and to remember to pay them on time. So I finally figured out that my budget was the problem and not necessarily our income or our expenses. When I became curious about this whole idea of becoming debt-free or paying down our debts because we had student loans, I'll get into the breakdown of our debt in a little bit, but when I became more interested and I started looking for ways of getting out of debt, I came across Dave Ramsey. I'm sure if you're clicking and watching this video, you've heard of Dave Ramsey. I started binge watching his content. I had this light bulb moment where I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've needed this whole time, and I feel like I can actually take control of this. I started watching all of his YouTube videos. I started listening to his podcasts without end, and I definitely brought it home to Chase. So we had the conversation, and budgeting before was really painful for us. We would sit down and he always felt like I was bombarding him with the budget and it meant that he was doing something wrong. And I always felt like he refused to talk about it. So when I finally found Dave Ramsey and I finally found a plan and a structure of getting out of debt, I knew what I could tell him. I knew and I had something to offer him. So once we found Dave Ramsey and once I had a solid plan, January of 2017, we aggressively started paying off our debt. When we started this whole process and this journey, we had about $50,000 worth of debt. All of that debt was broken up into a few different things. About, let's see, I wrote this down, about $35,000 of that was student loans. Most of them were mine. Chase got Pell Grants for most of college, and I just took out student loans. So we had about a total of $35,000 of student loan debt. We had about $12,000 of credit card debt. That was because for the first year, maybe year and a half that we lived in Germany, we were living off our credit cards because we made barely minimum wage. We made about $8 an hour, and we just, we were trying to survive and trying to stay here in the country. So about 35 of that was student loan debt, about 12 of that was credit card debt, and then about 3 of it we owed to family. So we had taken out loans from them, but we didn't want to ask too much, so then we would spend it on credit cards, and we would use our credit cards to buy things, so it just all added up really, really quickly. And to be quite honest, as an American, I was proud of my debt. I felt like, oh, I have a credit score, and everybody has student loan debts, and it's an excessive amount of money, and we would tell our German friends or our friends who are not from America that didn't deal with debt, oh, this is how much I have, and their face would just, show sheer terror that, how can you be in that much debt for something that everybody needs, like a degree? And so for me, I had this weird sense of pride, like, oh, look at this obnoxious number that we have. Yeah, we're paying it off. We're so American. And then when it finally clicked to me that that's not okay and it's not something that I should be proud of, I was horrified by that number. I was so motivated and so excited to get out from under that burden that we were going to do anything that it took to get out of debt. Over the process and over the journey, there were a lot of things that helped us consistently get through this process. So I wanted to give you guys our 5 top tips and our 5 top tricks to getting out of debt. Tip number 1 is up your income. That means get a second job, get 2 second jobs, sell some stuff, whatever it means. Get more income. Your income is your best tool. It is the most powerful tool you have. For us, that meant getting a second job. And for me, I work 9 to 5, so a regular 40-hour-a-week job. So I didn't really want to go somewhere in the evenings every day. And depending on what your schedule is like and what your lifestyle is like, if you're single and you can afford to have a job in the nighttime, then do it. For us, it was really important that we got to spend time together because we already spent the entire day apart. So I found a job that allowed me to work on the weekend, and it wasn't too many hours. It's also in a career that I love. So for me, I got a second job at a church. I only have to be there on Tuesday nights and Sunday mornings. For Chase, he got a job after his work. So he works from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the airport. And then after the airport, he goes and teaches voice lessons. So find something that fits your schedule and fits your lifestyle. If it's going to overwhelm you and it's going to consume your time, you're going to lose motivation. So make sure that you have something you're willing to do and doesn't completely ruin your schedule. After you've increased your income, my second tip for you is to keep your expenses low. When you find more money and you get a raise or you get a second job, you're going to be tempted to spend more money. Do not spend any more money. Live poor. Live like you lived in college, except for you make way more than you did in college. That is going to be your best tool to paying off debt, getting out of debt, and creating wealth. As long as you keep your expenses low, pay for the necessities, but don't go crazy. If you get a new job, don't go get a new car. If you get a raise, don't start subscribing to all of these, Netflix and Hulu. You don't need all of them. Pick one. Sacrifice, guys. It's short and temporary, and I promise you it will be worth it. For us, after we got our increases and got our second jobs, it was really tempting to go out to dinner more and go hang out with friends more. But we really had to focus and keep those expenses low. We're really lucky with our rent being super low right now where we are, and we wanted to just take advantage of that for as long as we have, because we know that in the future, when we have a bigger family, we're going to be paying more for rent. So I don't want to be in debt for that long. I would rather take advantage of my cheap rent, take advantage of this time that I'm willing to live way below my means, and then spend all of that on my debt and pay aggressively towards my debt. My third tip for you guys, and this is probably my most important tip, if there's anything you're going to take from this video, it's this one, and that is to budget. You better be budgeting. And when I say budget, I don't mean looking at your calendar and saying this bill is due on this day, this bill is due on this day. I mean, before the month even starts, you're looking at your income, what you're going to earn, and you're looking at your expenses, and you're telling your money where to go. It is also really important that you do a $0 budget. What that means is that you're going to spend every single dollar down to the last penny so you know exactly where your money is going, and you don't leave this miscellaneous category, which is where you go and spend Starbucks money on. It's just one coffee, it's just one cookie, it's just one pretzel. You want to make sure that you're counting for all of that money because it adds up really quickly, and it's your greatest tool. There's a few different budgeting apps that you can use. I know that Dave Ramsey has an app called Every Dollar. I personally didn't like it very much. It was just a bit too complicated, but I know a lot of people do like it. So for me, I made my own Excel spreadsheet. I can show you guys one day if it's something you're interested in, but find something that works for you, something that shows you what you're gonna earn and then shows you what you're gonna spend, and you can keep track of it. It's also really important that you check in on your budget monthly. I checked in on my budget daily because I'm obsessive, compulsive, and anal, and I enjoyed looking at it all the time. Anytime I spent money, anytime something changed, I would check on my budget. But it is more important that you check on it monthly because every single month is going to be different. You don't always have car repairs for the month. You don't always have school photos. You don't always have, this vacation or this expense. So make sure every month you are updating your budget. I will be sure to emphasize this one last time. Please budget. Please use your own spreadsheet. Please write it down on paper. Please use an app. Whatever it takes, make sure you budget. It is the most important tip to paying off debt. My fourth tip for you guys to paying off debt is to use the debt snowball technique. The snowball technique is when you take all of your debts and you list them from smallest to largest, and you pay them off regardless of interest from the smallest to the largest. Disregard interest entirely. I know that's going to be really counterintuitive to a lot of you. You're going to think, oh my gosh, all the money that I'm wasting for interest. I promise you, do the math. Chase and I had this conversation and he was very pro pay highest interest first. And over the course of 2 years, we would have saved maybe $200. So the motivation that you gain from paying off your smallest debt to your largest is invaluable. The momentum that you get from doing this snowball system, it's worth everything, guys. I promise this is gonna help you. You won't notice that a little bit of interest that you're saving because you're gonna start paying off entire debts and you're gonna feel like you've accomplished so much, and it's gonna happen quick because some of your debts are less than $1,000. So you can do that in your first month of doing your debt snowball. So I promise you guys, ignore the interest, smallest to largest, pay them off. It's super motivating. Once you're done, you're gonna be so excited and glad you did it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about how to do the debt snowball. I'll link Dave Ramsey's video below because you should just follow it. Just know that you're gonna pay smallest to largest, and what you're gonna do is once you take the minimum from that smallest one that you paid it off, you'll apply it to the next one. So that's where they get the snowball idea. I will link the video of Dave Ramsey's explanation of this debt snowball down in the description below, just so you guys can do some research. Because again, if you haven't heard of him or if you haven't seen this, you're gonna wanna check it out, I promise. All right, guys, my very last tip for you, which is also a very important tip, is to have fun and allow yourself to have fun. You will not be able to sustain this if you do this without allowing yourself to have fun. So some people I know, when I watch Dave Ramsey's stories and I watch his channel and I listen to his calls, some people give themselves a monthly budget for miscellaneous, like going to the movies. If that's important to you, make room for it. For us, what we did, we made sure that we were allowed to travel and that we were able to travel and that we did it without accruing any more debt. We moved to Europe to come and see a part of the world that we had never seen before and a part of the world that we might never experience again. So it was really important that we gave ourselves the opportunity to travel, but we didn't want to go into debt any further in order to do so. So we allowed ourselves to take a few trips while we've been here, and over the past few years of being in debt and getting out of debt, we've allowed ourselves to spend some cash on those trips. The most important part was that we spent cash on them and we saw them coming and we planned for it. So we put these things in our budget, we saved for them in our budget, we continued to be aggressive with our debt snowball, but it helped us get to the next point. It was kind of like a small milestone. Along with the snowball, we allowed ourselves to have fun and let loose. And I'll tell you right now, spending money has never been more fun than when it's your own cash money. I promise you, going to Italy and being able to buy a purse made of genuine Italian leather that's so romantic with your own cash, it's so much more exciting than using your credit card, I promise. So whatever it is for you guys, if it's traveling, if it's buying coffee once a week, whatever it is, find it. Make sure it's reasonable. Don't go crazy. But as long as you have that, it's going to help you keep going, and I promise it's going to make this totally doable, and you're going to love the process along the way. So thank you guys so much for watching. Those are my 5 tips. That's what Chase and I did to get out of debt. They're the things that we had all along the way. We started our debt-free journey in January of 2017, and we were officially debt-free October 26th of 2018. So it took just a little bit longer than our 18-month goal, but we made it. Because this channel is still growing and we're still trying to figure out what kind of content to create for you guys, we just wanted to put it all on the table. Being debt-free and our debt freedom and creating wealth is something that we're really passionate about, and it's something as entrepreneurs that we feel like we need to explore and we needed to get a hold of. So now that we are out of debt, we are on the next step, which is to save 3 to 6 months of our emergency fund and then ultimately prepare ourselves to create wealth. So if you guys are on this journey, or you want to be on this journey, or you're currently debt-free, then please let us know in the comments below. If you have questions, let us know. If you liked this and you're new to our channel, please subscribe. Please click the like button, the thumbs up, because it really supports us, and we're so happy you joined us. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful Vlogmas Day 26, and we'll see you next time.